When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
He paid my rent, and then he also paid off my student loans.
Really?
In just one big chunk, yeah.
How much was that?
$60,000.
$60,000?
Mm-hmm.
The ears of our listeners just perked up.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the #1 sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad and the shocking stories of sugar dating. I've got a guest in today from the East Coast, and we're going to bring her in here in a minute. She actually attended Sugarpalooza VI. A lot of my guests from the past few weeks and going forward are going to be attendees because everybody had kind of a different type of an experience, and we got to meet all kinds of different personalities. So we want to get their take on that. But if you want to see some behind the scenes photos and videos that we don't post anywhere else, go to our Patreon now. It's at patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. I'll have a link to it in this episode. It's also on our website, very easy to find, but we post some exclusive things there. Some faces are blurred from the request of our attendees. Others aren't. They were like, hey, fine, show me. So you'll get to see a lot of interesting things. We are continuing to post weekly different things from the party on there, and you definitely want to see those. The community chat is great. We've talked about it before. You can ask any kind of sugar dating questions that you might have about issues or situations that arise. And then we also get questions in there about other things in life. We've got a lot of very wise people in there who've seen a lot, done a lot, experienced a lot, and they'll give you their advice. They love to do it, and you can take it for what it's worth. But I've seen some really good things thrown around in there. And then you'll get to listen to all the extra sugars and episodes before anybody else. So, and it's very cheap, only $10 a month. And then if you want some coaching and profile reviews, Lily is still here. She's behind the scenes, just not in front anymore. And we still are doing those, and we get quite a few. So if you do sign up, have a little patience, we'll get to you. But definitely we want to help you have some success in the Sugar Bowl. Okay, I've got a guest in on Zoom, and we appreciate her joining us. Jane from the East Coast. Are we saying where you're from? Or no? Just leave it at
absolutely.
that?
Yeah.
So you live in Boston now.
I do, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you told me that you started sugar dating, or you did a lot of sugar dating in Dallas, and there's some huge differences between the East Coast and Midwest. We're going to get into a lot of that, but first of all, let's get a little background on you. You are how old?
I'm in my early 30s.
Early 30s. Mm-hmm. Okay. She looks fantastic, guys. When she showed up at the party, everybody was quite impressed. And we're going to get into a lot of that too, but have you been married before?
No.
Never
married.
No kids?
I've actually no kids, never even lived with a man.
No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How did you avoid that?
I think I've been in a lot of ways pretty independent. For me, money is freedom and security, and having freedom has often meant living by myself or living on my own terms.
Okay,
and not necessarily living with a partner.
So I take it you have a full-time job?
I do.
What kind of industry are you in?
Yeah, I'm in the tech industry, and I actually am self-employed in the tech industry. So I have my own business. I'm a solopreneur, I guess you could call it.
Wait, you have your own business?
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that full-time?
I do.
Oh, so you're self-employed.
I am.
I love it. How long have you done that?
I think full time now for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
So I kind of like took the leap after I had like a terrible job experience, like where I basically rage quit the job.
You
and
rage
was
quit?
Like, I did.
Expand
yeah. I
on
like
that.
quit. Oh my gosh. Well, like one of my toxic traits is that I get quitsy when I'm working for someone else, like which means like I get the itch to quit. Like when I get frustrated with the bureaucracy or like how somebody else is running the business
Uh-huh.
or whatever else. So I like acted on the impulse of being quitsy that time, and it kind of pushed me into starting my own thing, which is a much better fit for my personality because I kind of get to do things on my own terms and I work with the client that I choose to and not that I necessarily need to, like versus it being a boss.
Now, was this the same industry or did you completely change?
Yeah, same industry.
Okay. So you told them to take it and shove it up their ass, and I'm doing my own thing.
Like I like gave my boss at the time, who was horrible, was asking me to like lie to the board and a bunch of shit like that. And yeah, I gave 2 days notice and I'm like, I'm out at the end of the week.
Was it
He did
hard?
not like that.
Was it difficult transitioning? Because it sounds like you did it kind of at an impulse.
I had been kind of like dabbling doing the type of work that I do now when I was employed full time and kind of like doing moonlighting, doing it as a side hustle. So I jumped into doing it full time, and honestly, like it worked out really well. With like the tech downturns, they're looking for people to do what I do when the economy's bad.
Well, the reason I ask is so many girls and women and men are interested on how to transition into being self-employed. I don't think we cover that as much as we should. Like when I interview the men, a lot of people want to know how did they make their money? How did they jump into a successful career? And the same with the women, you know, the ones that are self-employed or have great jobs. They want to know, how did you do that? How did you get there? At what age did you start sugar dating? As I got quotes in the air here.
Yeah, so I think my intro to sugar dating was a little bit different than most people's. I actually started in the wilds and had kind of a arrangement organically develop when I was 25.
Okay, you were 25. How did you meet this guy in the wild?
This was somebody that I knew through my social circle who was actually my age.
No way.
So, or like about my age. He was like mid-20s.
But close enough.
Yeah, and he was really interesting because he was like by far probably the wealthiest person that I ever will date. And he's definitely like was the wealthiest person I'd ever dated at that time. He had like a growing business. He was like, his net worth was probably close to $1 billion or did surpass $1 billion at one point. I think it's back down in the hundreds of millions.
Wait a minute. Now. Wait. We've got to explore this a little bit more. You met somebody in their mid to upper 20s that was pretty much a billionaire?
Yes.
How did he do that?
He kind of invested. I can't give too much information.
I get it.
I signed an NDA when we stopped.
Just
dating.
generalizations,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, the generalization is that he was like a, I guess, pioneer in the industry that he was in.
Okay.
And it ended up being like it was an industry that took off and was extremely lucrative. He was in like the right place at the right time and took a lot of risks to get into this industry at the beginning because it was an industry that people said was kind of like a scam.
Well, good for him. All right. So you knew him because he was a friend of a friend or what?
Yeah. Yeah. He was like in my social circle.
And he thought you were pretty damn cute. And how did it go from there?
We started kind of in a situationship, I guess you could call it, like where you're kind of dating casually. At the time, like I didn't have a ton of dating experience, and especially I didn't have dating experience dating somebody that was successful. I think like my only serious relationship at that point, like he couldn't afford to put new tires on his car, so I had to buy him new tires.
Really?
So yeah, so it was definitely like different. I got kind of like swept up a little bit in his lifestyle. Obviously, I was very easily impressed at that stage of life. So ultimately what it came down to is that he didn't want exclusivity because he was flying all over the world, basically fucking girls on 6 different continents.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine if I had that kind of wealth in my 20s. Oh my God.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. It definitely he was a kid in the candy store, like for sure at that point in time. Yeah, I think he basically just was paying my rent. And so he was kind of like paying to like keep me happy
Okay.
at that point.
How did this come up? Did you bring it up or did he just offer it? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, so at one point, like he wanted me to travel with him. I had like another business that involved me being like present in person a lot. And he wanted me to come on a trip with him to New York, like for work, like with his like business associates. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't because I have this obligation and I need to do this because I'm paying off my student loans and I have bills and XYZ. And he's like, well, what if I paid your rent? Like then would you be more free?
And you're like, okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the offer. Yeah, it was honestly a great experience, even though I wasn't like as I guess mature, like when it came to non-monogamy, I definitely was like a bit jealous of him dating other people and that sort of thing. Like ultimately it was a great experience for me. It like helped to further me in my life a lot. And it gave me exposure to different things and different people. And I don't think I'll ever be intimidated by somebody who has money again, because at the end of the day, they're just people, you know?
Yeah, so
like,
interesting.
The value of one person like is never going to be dictated to, at least to me, by how much or how little money that they have. It's how they treat the people in their lives.
So you were never exclusive with him?
No.
And did he make that clear up front?
I mean, like as much as like a 27-year-old guy can. Like
Right.
we weren't like very direct because both of us like just weren't very mature at that point. So like the maturity of the mutual relationship, right, like was developmentally appropriate, I guess you could say. But there definitely was like a little bit of fighting, a little bit of drama there.
Well, I bet because you're thinking I hit the jackpot here,
Yeah.
and he's becoming more and more good looking as the bank account goes up. It's a natural thing. Sorry.
I think like ultimately we were never compatible. Like we never like were in love with each other. Like I don't think at any point, like despite me being enamored with him at times, like I don't think I was never in love with him and he was never in love with me. So it was never gonna continue. He is married to like the love of his life now, like has kids. Like I can see like that why they have like a real relationship, and that just would have never worked for us. But I got like a ton out of the relationship, as I'm sure that he did, because I think like looking back at it, the value that I brought to his life at the time was I was someone that he could bring to around people that he worked with, and he knew that I wasn't going to embarrass him.
Right.
Because I can talk to people and I'm not so I feel like I hold my own, but I'm not an Instagram model.
Yeah.
So like it looked like somebody like realistically that he would date.
Yeah, I think you fill a nice spot in that niche. Is you can hold your own. You're the girl next door look. I guess I'm sure you've heard that. And that doesn't intimidate men. Like a lot of times the really, really gorgeous women intimidate men. They're like, yeah, nobody ever, they say, yeah, people don't ask me out because I think they're intimidated. Where it's no slight on you. We all know where we stand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
And I think
I'm no Brad Pitt. I know that.
One of the things that was valuable to him is that he could bring me to dinners with his investors and their wives and then be like, oh my gosh, like this young guy and this bimbo that he's bringing to dinner, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly, right.
Like I was someone that people, I guess, felt comfortable around because I can talk to people. I don't know.
So
people like end up telling me all of their life secrets too. It's just like one of my gifts in life.
You just find that happening a lot, huh?
I do. Yeah.
So that was your introduction to sugar dating, basically. It's kind of interesting how it all evolved. How long did you guys date?
A little less than a year. So it wasn't a super long term thing.
Yeah. And how did it end?
He moved to a different country for work.
Really? Okay. So you guys are still friends?
Yeah. I think obviously like his wife like doesn't want us to be best friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get it.
But no, like ultimately, like it did end on good terms. Like
there was no big blow up.
No, absolutely not. No. And I think like that's definitely more like the way that most arrangements end. It's like not in a big flash of gunpowder, but it's because circumstances and life changes.
Okay. So now your rent's not being paid anymore.
No, unfortunately not, but call me if anybody wants to do that. For me.
Well, no, I mean, when you guys ended, your rent stopped being paid and you're like, oh, darn, I got to start paying that again.
Oh yeah, I just picked up the little like side business that I had.
And then
again. I always had a full-time job that like
right.
even
so it wasn't that big.
That was paying my no.
So then what were your thoughts going forward?
Yeah, I was like, man, like I'm never dating a broke guy again.
Right?
Yeah. It's just not as fun. Like I went out with a lot of the normies on Tinder and Hinge and Bumble and just it wasn't the same. They weren't as interesting, I guess, because a lot of the guys, like at least in my age group, like didn't have at that point, like I was starting to have more life experience than they were just because I got exposed to a different lifestyle at a young age.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career. Ew. Or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So here you are, mid-20s, single again. But you were dating other people, weren't you, while you were with him, or were you not?
I wasn't really. No, I wasn't.
No, you
really.
weren't.
I mean,
were you?
I would have been free to, like, although I probably would have had to hide it.
Yeah.
Like it was a little bit like of a don't ask, don't tell situation.
Okay. Gotcha. And then like,
not the most mature in the world, but
so now you're thinking, okay, is it time to get back on the dating sites, or did you find seeking? Where did you go?
Yeah. So actually my second arrangement was also in the wild. So I guess I just like put out into the world that that this is what I'm about. But no, that was another person that was through my like extended social circle who was separated at the time and didn't want to be dating out in the open because his ultimate goal was to reconcile with his wife. So he and I dated for like 4 months. So to go back to your original question, yes, I was on the dating apps dating like other like 20 guys, having a horrible time. And then in comes in SD number 2, who is a friend of a friend of a friend that I had met at parties and stuff that I had been to. And he kind of like came to me and asked me like, oh, like, would you be interested in going out with me? And I'm like, well, if I'm going to be sneaking around, like a little bit, not like truly sneaking around, but yeah, then I need some help with rent. And
so you just brought it up front.
Mm-hmm.
You just said,
yeah.
Were you attracted to him?
I was.
Okay. So what if he would have said no?
Oh, then I would have just moved on. And
really? Even though you were attracted to him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because I think like ultimately he was open to it because he kind of had a, I guess, predicament there where if he wanted to reconcile like with his ex that had just left him, then he like didn't want to be out dating like a bunch of younger women, you know?
Yeah. How much older was he?
He was 15 years. So he was like early 40s.
Okay. Now we're getting into some age gap.
Definitely. Yeah.
What did you think about him being that much older?
I liked it. It was
You
a
did?
turn on for me at the time.
Yeah.
It felt super taboo.
It felt taboo.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have any children?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. He had young children, too young to really like know what was going on.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
it kind of worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that one lasted 4 months. What did he do for you financially?
I was kind of a little bit more with it at that point. So he paid my rent and then he also paid off my student loans.
Really?
In just one big chunk. Yeah.
How much was that?
$60,000.
$60,000?
Mm-hmm.
The ears of our listeners just perked up. He just wrote a check for $60,000 and paid off your student loan.
I logged him into the portal, and yeah, he just paid it.
Oh, wow. And what did he do that he had that kind of money?
He owned, again, I don't want to give out too much like identifiable information, but he owned a business. Ultimately, I think I am most attracted to people who are entrepreneurial because I am too. Even at this point, I was still like developing my craft and my career. So I wasn't an entrepreneur at that point, at least full time. So I've always been, I don't think I've only had one sugar daddy that has ever been an employee. I think all of them have owned businesses or done their own thing in that way.
See, and that's important that I think we talk about that. You start seeing a pattern here. And a lot of people want to experience this lifestyle. A lot of men want to experience this lifestyle. And I get letters on like, hey, how can I become a sugar daddy? Well, it's pretty easy and it's pretty expensive. But for you to afford it, for the most part, you need to have some disposable income. Now, I've interviewed plenty of sugar daddies that are employees, but the ones that are really experiencing the travel and the fine dining and the best of the best, they're the business owners. They're the guys that have worked very hard and they have people working for them and they've taken risks and chances. And I'm sure that you've learned a lot just from dating those two guys.
Yeah, I did. I think it definitely emboldened me to take more risks in my own career because ultimately the worst thing that could happen was I would fail and be at zero again, right? And I was already starting. I felt like at zero. Yeah. Or I could just get a sugar daddy again.
All right. So this one lasted 4 months. How did it end?
He reconciled with his wife.
Okay. So they got back together. Did she ever find out about you?
I don't think so.
No.
No, we kept it like pretty on the down low.
Okay, so since you guys were being discreet, pretty much Netflix and chill. I mean, where are we going with this?
No, like I think they kind of lived in a pretty isolated community in like a different part. So Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex is huge. So they were in, I'll tell you afterwards because you're probably familiar with it being from Texas, Marcus, but it's like a little like enclave of the Metroplex. And so he and I were just going out to, I guess, places where mid-20s people go out. So where his friends and his wife's friends like probably weren't going to be.
Gotcha. So funny thing, I was...
And he was separated as well. It wasn't like it would have been like crazy for him to be seen with someone else. He just didn't want to be like, dragging someone all around his community. Yeah.
So funny thing, it was on Twitter today. It's actually on Instagram. It's all over the news. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a viral clip going. It was at a Coldplay concert where the CEO of the company got caught holding the HR director of his company, and they're married, or he's married. I know that. I think she was too, but have you seen that? And then
Damn Skippy, I have. Yeah, it was here in Boston at the Coldplay concert.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
I didn't know where it was. It's just all over the internet. The camera panned over, and as soon as they realized they were on camera, they both ducked and started hiding. But it was too late by then. Oh, so you got to be a little more discreet than that if you're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I've done that where I was dating somebody and she was separated, and we had to go to like different parts of the town, just to make sure. But problem for me, even when I travel, like I live here in Phoenix, Arizona, but I'll go to New York City and I'll run into somebody I know. It's the damnedest thing. And
you just have that. You have the aura.
I don't know.
Your friends end up following you around.
I've gotten on planes in Nashville, Tennessee, and I sat next to somebody that he didn't know me from Adam, but he started telling me about his son who moved to Texas, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't lived there in 25 years, and so then he told me this little small town that he moved to, and I go, oh damn, I actually know where that is. They were crosstown rivals of ours when I was in high school. Then he told me the name of the girl he married. And I'm like, what the hell? That was my first high school girlfriend. He married your son moved to Texas and married my first high school girlfriend. It's just for me, I don't know what happens. I just keep running into people like that. It's the craziest thing. So if you're going to be discreet, yeah, you got to make sure you're in.
So I could see that for you because you're so friendly. For me, I have a friendly face. So whenever I go into a new environment, even Sugarpalooza for that matter, whenever I like go into a group of people who I have never met, I get like a bunch of, you look like XYZ celebrity, and it's always a different one.
Who do they say you look like?
I'll tell you my favorite one. I would love to look like Lady Gaga. Do I think I look like Lady Gaga? No. But
okay.
That's the one that I think like I look the most like, or Michelle Trachtenberg, who RIP Michelle Trachtenberg, she recently passed away. Those are the two that I feel like I most resemble.
Okay.
I think I look like myself. Or they say I look like the girl next door, basically.
Yeah.
Like you look like somebody that I went to high school with. You look like my best friend's sister. Like you look like somebody that I've met before.
You have a great look. You're very blessed, actually. And oh man, I got so many questions. I do want to explore this whole Sugarpalooza shenanigans that we got into. But
oh yeah.
So you're not on any sugar daddy apps yet. You're finding these guys in the wild. Women would love to do that. It's a little tricky though on how you approach it.
I think the first one was definitely like pure luck. Like I don't like the situation in which the first guy I met is like it's not able to be replicated.
Yeah.
The second one, I will say it's about putting yourself in rooms where people that you want to be are. And I think that's great advice, like for anybody, no matter what you want to do. So if there are people doing the things that you want to do, for me, it was people who were starting and running successful businesses. If you end up being in rooms with people like that, you'll meet more and more people until one is somebody that you click with, both on either on a friendship level, a dating level, like no matter what else.
That's excellent advice. I've always had one of my favorite quotes is, if you want to be successful, do what other successful people are doing. And
absolutely,
you're not going to get very far sitting at home wishing. So I know Amy came to the party this year. It's the first time she's ever stayed more than an hour. Like she just doesn't do well in social situations, but she kind of forced herself to be a little bit more out there. And then she ended up having the time of her life and met some of the greatest people.
Well, I'm glad that she had such a good time because she was by far one of my favorite people.
Really?
She is so sweet and ingratiating and genuine. You can like tell it immediately when you speak to her. And I mean, obviously she's super smart too. You can talk to her for 2 minutes and determine that. She's
had a lot of very interesting experiences. And when we get to talking to her on an intimate level where she just lets loose, she'll tell us stuff and we're like, I had no idea that you were that versed on this subject, because she just doesn't really put it out there. So we are very, very proud of her for coming out of her comfort zone. And I think she learned a lot from that weekend.
I can say, like, I definitely learned a lot about myself from going to Sugarpalooza. And that's like the biggest thing that I got from it, like other than meeting so many like wonderful people and being able to kind of share this part of my life that I have had be a part of my life for years at this point, like openly, because I don't necessarily talk about this facet of my life to other people in my life. So it was really great being able to be open and have candid conversations without judgment. Like everybody also kind of gets it. So like you don't need to like convince them that it is like a completely valid lifestyle choice.
You're listening to
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Okay, I can see we're going to jump around this interview because I am dying to ask you questions, and we keep leading into it. I've got so many other questions about your sugar dating life, but let's talk about the party. Okay, first of all,
course.
how did you find the podcast?
Through Reddit. So
Through
I'm
Reddit?
somebody referred somebody else in a post.
Yeah.
In a comment. to
I've
the
gotten on
podcast.
Reddit in the sugar lifestyle forums. There's a few sugar dating forums in there. And anytime I bring it up, I kind of get blasted a little bit. So I quit really talking about it, but other people do bring it up occasionally. So I was just wondering, if anybody actually ever reads that or is referred to us through that.
Yeah, I do occasionally. Like, honestly, now that I have access to the Sugar Circle Girls Patreon chat, like I don't feel the need to ask any questions to anybody else because it is such like a great group of girls. If you need like some trigger to like push you to get at least the basic membership of Patreon, like if you're a lady that's interested in the sugar lifestyle, like absolutely subscribe to the Patreon because it's made a big difference.
Yeah, so
in my community.
That's definitely one perk that we give our subscribing members is it's kind of it kind of hurts me a little bit because you guys talk about a lot of things that I wish you would post in the forum on Patreon, but we do have a private WhatsApp women's only group chat that we can add you to once you become a subscribing member of Patreon. So there you go. That's a nice little added bonus. And I don't get to read the messages, but I hear occasionally some topics, and they're pretty interesting, and situations that come up all over the place. Different. So everybody experiences unique things, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've seen and shared a couple of kind of interesting and crazy stories on that chat.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you found our podcast through Reddit, and then I guess you heard about the Sugarpalooza parties and decided to put your application in.
I did, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I've never applied for something like that, right? Like, I'm not like much of a social media person. One of the professional photographer Sugar Daddies at the party looked at my photos on Seeking and like in a really nice way said my photos suck.
Yeah.
So
they didn't do you justice.
No, I guess not. Yeah, if that gives you any background of why I was like a little bit apprehensive to apply, but I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah. Okay. So we said, yes, you're in, come and join us. What were your expectations for that weekend?
I tried to keep them like really open. I think ultimately, like I was just really excited to kind of like share my experiences and meet other people that are like-minded because I think I'm not alone in this, that I definitely like fear judgment if I were to share this with like some of my friends that perhaps are a little bit more conservative than me. I think like I'm finding at least like through this process and also through the party that I'm like, wow, like there's so many more things that I want to explore, like so many life experiences that I want to have, like both sexually, personally, like whatever. And so I kind of was really, I left the party feeling really inspired about that, specifically around non-monogamy.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you fly in. Did you go straight to the Airbnb or did you come over to my place? I can't remember.
I came to your place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. I remember now. And then what did you think of your Airbnb roommates?
Oh, they were lovely. Yeah, we really hit it off. We had the beautiful house.
Yeah.
Too.
I think the house that you guys were in was one of the best ones. When I went, I didn't look at them all. I booked them all, but I'm just going off pictures. But then when you see them in person, you're like, oh yeah, this is okay. And then one of them was fantastic. And I think you were in that house.
Yeah, I was there first. So I took the liberty of giving myself the princess room.
Why not? Right.
So I had a great time.
Yeah. I'm sure you took one of the master bedrooms with its own bathroom and had all the privacy there.
direct pool access, so I could like creep out
Oh,
because
nice.
I'm 3 hours ahead of everybody, so that I could creep out in the morning and like have coffee by the pool. It was fabulous.
Yeah. Now, did you get here on Saturday?
I did, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So you missed the little Friday night shenanigans. We talk about that on the podcast. It was pretty fun, but it wasn't a lot of people here for that. Some people came in early. Okay. So Saturday, we got you over there, and then we had the mixer at the country club. How did that go for you?
That was awesome. I loved meeting everybody. I think it was before, people were definitely on their best and worst behavior, I guess you could say.
Their
on
best and
Saturday.
worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say people were definitely on their worst behavior by the time the concert rolled around, because everybody was a little bit more comfortable with each other. We all had been drinking at that point, some of us for 40 hours.
Right.
So, yeah, it was really fun. I tried to meet everybody at the party, and I think I came really close, like within a couple people.
Good.
So, like talking to everybody at Sugarpalooza at the country club. I definitely have some favorites, but you know who you are.
Yeah. Did you participate in the photo booth?
I did, yeah. I think I'm not like a super big photos person, but I got like a fun one
Yeah.
with one of the cowboy hat props.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. That was a lot of fun. And there's a lesson to be learned from, what you were saying, that you did try to talk to everyone. And I really appreciate you doing that, because a lot of people, they were nervous and they're a little bit shy. They don't know what people think about them or what people are going to think about them. But I kind of feel like most everybody felt very free and comfortable immediately.
Yeah, I agree. I think everybody was being themselves. I think there's a beauty in going into a room where you don't know many people, like to show up authentically like yourself without there being any like baggage or anything with anybody there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that went well. And then Sunday, we had a little pre-party at my house, and then a party bus to and from the concert. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, first and foremost, I was just trying not to fall out of my top because I chose a really risky top.
There was a few really risky tops there.
But that aside, yeah, like the second day, like I definitely like was feeling a lot more comfortable with people. Like I already had some like little inside jokes and rapport with different folks. Party bus was a great time. It was such a good, and I had such a good time that I missed the party bus on the way home. And
wait, you missed it?
Yeah.
What happened?
Me and one of my roommates, we just like were just yapping after the concert, and we got swept away in the crowd, and then we're like, we don't know where the bus is.
Oh my
and
gosh.
we definitely missed the bus. So have no fear, Uber was there to the rescue.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, it's okay. We made it back to the after party to see like all the naked drunk people running around.
Oh
so
my
that
goodness.
was the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
Not Swingerpalooza, but definitely what is the word? Exhibitionist.
Yeah, there was a few exhibitionists there. Yeah, definitely.
Which I love that, because I'm definitely more of an observer.
Mm-hmm.
I love to like just watch people do their thing. So
yeah. So did you get photos made?
I did. Yeah. I think Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, Jay took some photos of me, which I'm using on my Seeking now.
Good.
So yeah, he took some great photos of me.
Yeah,
thanks, Jay. We love you.
We've posted some of those on our Patreon. We're going to post some more, but there's a couple of Alejandra that he was like, I need no filtering on these. They were fantastic.
Oh yeah, she looked so gorgeous, and she had her. I think the day that she got the photos done, she had her makeup professionally done too. So she was just looking absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
she was way more beautiful than I like. I had an image of what she would look like in my head because I had never seen her.
Yeah,
but I had heard all about her and heard her on the podcast before. She is absolutely breathtaking. You're a very lucky man.
Yeah, we're actually celebrating our 3-year anniversary tomorrow, which is going to be, it's July 19th actually is when it is. So we'll just celebrate it by the time this podcast comes out. We're headed to Cafe Monarch, which is one of the top restaurants in the nation right here in Old Town Scottsdale. That's where she wanted to go.
Happy anniversary. I'm sure you'll celebrate in the best way that you know how.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's so weird thinking it's been 3 years because we certainly didn't start out with any intention of date one. Let's go out and have a good time. And if we enjoy each other, let's do it again. And then we did it again and again and again. And here we are 3 years later. It's absolutely crazy. We're not exclusive, but I really haven't been dating around in the last month and she hasn't either. So I don't know where we're going to go, but we're continuing forward. I mean, the relationship is really strong because we haven't put that pressure on it.
And I think that's definitely like what appeals to me about sugar dating in general. I think that's honestly the most organic way a relationship can develop, right? Is like, okay, great. Like we might decide to be exclusive at this point in time, but as long as we can stay open and honest with one another, which is definitely what the lifestyle facilitates, I feel like, is for people to be more open and honest about what they really want than like any other type of dating that I've done. It takes, there's a lot of pressure off there for sure. For things to either develop into more or be exclusive, at one point in time, be non-monogamous at another point in time, just depending on what's happening in life and where you each are at. But as long as you can like trust each other, like have open dialogue, like I think kind of anything's possible.
What were your thoughts of Lily and Trucker?
Oh my goodness.
They're just the cutest couple, aren't they?
I would have never. So the funniest thing is that I would have never guessed that they would have met through this lifestyle. And I think that's perfect because they look like they are made for each other.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's such an amazing story. We, rehash it quite a bit, but Lily retired from her career as a public servant and she just wanted to date. She didn't want to date broke losers anymore. And so she had three failed marriages and you're raising your hand going, same buddy, same. Right. And then for her to meet Trucker and then, it just, again, they didn't put pressure on the relationship either. They just let it happen. And here they are engaged 2 years later and just living a very, very fulfilling and happy life. It's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm definitely open to something developing organically like that, but it's not something that I like require or need. Like I'm just like kind of living and dating day by day. Yeah. Which is really, really freeing. It's awesome.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Marcus.
Well, let's get into a little bit more. Let's kind of go back to your sugar dating life. We talked about the 2 sugar daddies in the wild. Was that it? I mean, did you find any more guys in the wild or now you're getting them online?
Yeah. So after the second one, I'm like, oh, this is really awesome.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah. And so from there, I think it was 2019, I started meeting guys from Seeking.
Okay. So like 6 years ago, give some people a timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, about 6 years ago, like went on some okay meet and greets, some disastrous ones, and then met
What made them disastrous?
Oh gosh, like one of, I think like at the time, like I definitely was more like easily embarrassed by like being in public sometimes. So I went on a meet and greet at a Starbucks and the guy that I had the meet and greet with, he was deaf in one ear. So he like just spoke at a really high volume.
Oh, man.
So he was basically like screaming in the Starbucks, like about like all of the sexually things that he wanted to do with me. And I was just so embarrassed. That was horrible. I think now, like I would be I'd be a little bit more confident to put my foot down, like, and be like, hey, like, calm down. We can talk about this later. Like, we don't need to talk about all of these pressing details right now. But yeah, that one obviously did not progress to an arrangement. And then, there are just a couple more that kind of didn't really understand the difference between sugar dating and escorting. So, part of the course of that. And then I met a lovely guy who I had an arrangement with for about 7 months, which, again, like parted ways on good terms, like ended well. And then I started dating somebody in the vanilla world. So I kind of stopped sugaring until just this past year again.
Was it weird to go backwards, I guess? I call it backwards because you're dating older, wealthier, successful men, and then all of a sudden now you're dating somebody vanilla, and it's like, is it a step backwards, or was it a hard transition, or what?
For me, it wasn't.
No.
So I think like what sugar dating taught me is it empowered me to not only communicate what I wanted, but it also taught me to have higher standards. So I think like one of the episodes that I got hooked on the pod for was one of the episodes that Kat was on. And so Kat, like I was a Kat super fan and I was so excited to meet her in person.
She's great, isn't she?
Yeah, she absolutely lived up to her podcast episodes reputation. Like she absolutely is exactly like how she comes off on the podcast. But one of the things that she said on one of her episodes was that it definitely, like an experience that she had with a sugar daddy, it leveled up her standards of what she could, like of the ways that she could be treated, about how well she could be treated by a sugar daddy. And I think this was a person that it wasn't even necessarily like a paid situation, but she just had such a fabulous time. And I think that's where I took my vanilla dating, is to kind of not like, there wasn't necessarily like the PPM or allowance type of arrangement, but I think after sugaring, dating in a vanilla fashion, I learned to not settle for bad treatment. And I was always treated really well by vanilla partners that I chose. Yeah. Because if they weren't treating me well, I would just not really be interested in them.
Well, if you guys want to go back and listen to some episodes that she's talking about, it's Kat from Australia, and she's got a few episodes out, but then they're always great. Man, if she lived here, she'd definitely be my co-host. Oh my God, I could listen to her all day long.
Oh, the two of you have a great vibe too.
I know.
Like, you have a great camaraderie there. I wish I was sitting next to you, Marcus.
Yeah, I know. I think you would be great too.
Was so lonely.
I know. Well, I got Amy in last week, but she's hit and miss. That girl she's tough to get it to wrangle in here. I almost got to like lasso her in. And anyway, we were going in opposite directions today, and I just ran in here from work. All right, so you went back to vanilla dating, and then that ended. So then you got back into sugar dating?
Yeah, so I kind of had since like moved to Boston. Kind of when I started, I was like, I'm not really looking for anything serious. So I'm like, oh, like this would actually be a great opportunity to not only be treated really well, like, and also like meet some of my financial goals at this time, but also to be really upfront about my boundaries and the fact that like I'm not really necessarily looking for an arrangement to turn into anything else, like a long-term relationship or marriage. The problem that I get to, especially being in my early 30s, is dating men around my age. They usually like want to settle down, find their person, have a family. And just kind of at the time in my life where I got back on seeking, I was not looking for that.
Do you see yourself in that situation, or you're just kind of taking it year by year?
I'm taking it year by year. Yeah. I think like it's not something that I would rule out. I don't think I would rule out much of anything, honestly, at this point, but I don't think that's like the end all be all for me being happy in the future.
We just got a few minutes left here. Tell me
Sure.
about a date that just went disastrous, or a situation maybe over some time that just did not pan out well.
Yeah, the girls on the WhatsApp chat can corroborate this, but I recently went on a meet and greet with somebody who basically had rolled out of bed. Like he looked horrible.
He show up in his pajamas? I mean, what do you mean rolled out of bed?
He showed up in sweatpants, like a baggy t-shirt and crusty eyes. Like he hadn't even washed his face. Like it was horrible.
I mean, is this 3:00 in the afternoon? Or I mean, what?
This is like 11:00 in the morning. So
Okay.
it was a coffee date. Like it was a casual date. I didn't expect him to wear a tuxedo, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on. So I actually told him like the reason why I wasn't interested in him. And he took the feedback, I think, as well as a guy in that situation would.
Well, I'm glad you did. Sometimes we just got to be blunt and honest.
And it's kind of shocking because this man runs like a several $100 million hedge fund. Like he's not a schlep. Like
Wow.
like I know that he owns probably several suits.
Yeah.
Not that I was expecting him to wear it in that scenario, but I'm like, I know that you know how to dress to impress, or at least like put some effort into it.
Yeah. Now, him being the provider, he can kind of get away with that sometimes, but it shocks me on how many girls show up when they look like they just rolled out of bed. Now, that's ridiculous.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't in a ball gown either, but I had put some, like, my hair was done, I had makeup on, I had like a sundress.
Yeah.
I know that the guys are always a sucker for the sundress. So
the $5 sundress.
Yeah.
Oof, man. All right. So what are some of the big differences between Dallas and Boston? Or what are you seeing there?
It almost seems like a little bit counterintuitive of the way that people perceive the word conservative.
Okay.
But people in Boston are so much more conservative when it comes to sugar dating in general, or at least from what I've seen, because I'm only dating men, so I can only see it from the woman's perspective, is they're a lot less generous. Like, I think just in dating culture in the South in general, like there is the expectation that the man is going to like give in the beginning, right? Like in order to impress you, get your attention. I think the dating culture is just generally different in Boston. There's a lot more stinginess, I guess, in Boston. Like I still have found success. I had a little bit of a dry spell in June, but things are plenty wet nowadays. So,
okay. Plenty wet. Yeah. It's raining okay there, huh?
It is. Yeah.
So just give me ranges. What would be an average range of a PPM in Dallas versus Boston?
So this was also like 6 years ago, so I don't know if it's really representative. And I think like when in the arrangement that I did do PPM, it was like around 500.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 6 years ago in Dallas. Nowadays in Boston, I would say like 750 would be like the lowest end of PPM. Mm-hmm.
And then what about like a monthly allowance? What would that work out to be?
I mean, I think at that time, like in Dallas, right? Like you kind of go off of like what's the average price of a 1-bedroom apartment, right?
Yeah.
At least that's the way that I've always modeled it.
Yeah.
So like the average price of a 1-bedroom apartment in Dallas back then was like about $1,500 per se. Like here in Boston, I mean, a 1-bedroom apartment is like $3,000. Like it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So of course, like with the cost of living, I think like the ranges of the PPMs also go up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
At least for what I'm finding. I had like somebody offer me, he's like, oh yeah, 6 years ago or like 7 years ago in Atlanta, in another arrangement, I used to do 600. Like, could you do that? And I was like, my dude, like, no.
600 per month?
600 PPM.
Oh, PPM. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but I'm like, this man is a lawyer. Like, I'm like, you're a terrible negotiator. Like you're probably really bad at your job.
Yeah. All right. Well, we covered a lot. Anything else you want to let our listeners know about this lifestyle? Do you recommend it?
I do. I definitely recommend it. I'm glad that I got into it when I was a little bit older. So I definitely it's made it like this time around has been a lot more fun than it was the first time around, because I think I am secure in myself now and enough to know like what I want, and I feel comfortable like saying no.
Well, the nice thing is
a lot more.
You're not doing it out of desperation, and that is the big key.
Yeah. What is the phrase? Desperation is a stinky cologne.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
And when Sugarpalooza 7 comes up, I hope to see you again.
Oh, really? Do I have an invite?
You probably do. Anybody that comes on the show, I mean, we do show our appreciation.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it. I would
But
love
we
to come
we
again.
haven't got it figured out yet. Just keep checking our website for the party tab to pop up. I took it off for now, but as soon as we get it, we'll announce it and then give people plenty of time to apply. But definitely, I think you had one of the times of your life here and met some of the greatest people too.
I had so much fun. Yeah. All the girls and the guys were all complete angels. Loved
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Very good. Well, if you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, like we heard a few from Jane today, go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You can contact us there. We get a lot of messages also on Instagram. We'd love a follow there too. And there's just so many ways to get a hold of us, but we will acknowledge it. I do want to apologize. I've got about 10 or 12 messages in my inbox I haven't acknowledged yet. I've just been so busy, but we do get to those and we appreciate that. And a lot of you guys want to be on the show. And so we'll get in touch with you. Yeah. And then we'd love for you to join our family on Patreon. It's such a great little community we have there. It supports the show. We really, really appreciate that. So go to patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. All right. Are you going back to work, Jane?
I am.
Yeah, me too. I got to run back to work, but we appreciate you again for coming on and hope to see you soon.
Okay. Hope to see you soon too. Thanks, Marcus.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.